guys, enough is enough. I think I've seen enough when it comes to Doc Rivers being the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. You guys might see I'm wearing a Bucks jersey right now. It might be in commiserations or mourning for the Bucks. We covered them in one of our previous NBA videos where we were discussing teams who aren't performing, and they are definitely one who aren't. When you've got two players who definitely sit in your top 25 in the league, maybe 30 if you want to extend that for Dame. They should be doing a lot better than they are. And we're going to take a look into it as we always do. Deep dive into the stats and what is going on. And you might think, what sparked this, Emmanuel? Like, why are you going through the stats? Bucks lost to Grizzlies last night, I believe. They got blown out. It was a domination from beginning to end. Firstly, before we get into the nightmare that was Bucks, because we're going to be staying on this, and I'll touch a bit more than I did last time when we were covering them and their performance so far. But the Bucks went up against the Grizzly team who have been performing decently well, 3-3. They've got Ja back. Ja was immense this game. He got a triple-double, 14 assists, 10 rebounds. He was immense. Looking at the rest of the team, Armada has been really good, filling it in where possible. Him and Jaren Jackson in those forward positions have been holding it down relatively well. And the rest of the team just filling in where possible. And doing what he needs to do in his rookie minutes that he's getting, and he will feature. Another player I want to call out is Scottie Pippen, who called out Darvin Ham, essentially saying that, that was a person who didn't believe in him when he was on the Lakers. And he showed out with some really clutch defense and some clutch production. That's enough for the Grizzlies. We'll probably cover them later on. But I want to get back to the Bucks, who are in a position where I don't know where they really go. Giannis was killer again, 37 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. Dame was poor, putrid, horrible, of 12, which is disgusting. The defense on him was tough, yes, but that's nightmare numbers. And a minus 29 in terms of plus minus only by Brook Lopez as well. This is an aging team, yes. They're almost the masters of their own downfall. And I'm going to go through a couple of things quickly where we're going to be talking about Doc Rivers. I don't think that Doc Rivers is the man who should be leaving Bucks, if I'm being honest with you. Discussions about him being trolled after the game. I think it's time for him to leave, if I'm being honest with you. I think the disappointment was awful. They doubled down with a multi-year contract, which will been covered here, and it's backfiring for the Bucks. As mentioned here, the decision to sack and fire Adrian Griffin was one that looked rash. Happened, but if you're going to do it, you've got to bring in a certified coach who's going to bring in new ideas, who's going to make sure that Dame and Giannis work to the level that they need to, and they're not. I really think it's not good enough. See here in this article, it says that Bucks were off to a strong 30-13. They were second in the East when they made the decision to sack Adrian Griffin. I know things weren't completely blending to the way we wanted it to, but Doc has a negative record with the Bucks, if I'm not mistaken. Performance in the playoffs was shocking. I haven't seen a spark since he's come in. There's been rumours that Dame isn't happy, kind of visibly not happy. Rumours can continue. If I'm the owners of the Bucks, I'm making decisions that can prioritize my franchise and make sure I keep my star players, because that's where the commodities lie. Dame is going to leave at the first chance he gets. Let's be honest. I was looking at tweets, and if you know me, I'm not the biggest George Karl fan, but when you mention something of this nature in terms of being a great example for what happens when a front office oversteps the basketball stuff, Bud, Griffin, Rivers, yes, out of all of them, obviously Bud was the coach who got the best out of the Bucks continuously. You make the sacking, or you get rid of him, you ask for that appointment change. You bring in Adrian Griffin, a young coach, someone who knows the Bucks. It doesn't work, and you then decide to hire Rivers, who hasn't really performed to a high level in any of his appointments, and I'm over the hump. Take teams over the hump. He hasn't been able to do that, and he's not going to be able to do that with the Bucks either. He also called out the Drew versus Dame in the system, in the way they play. I think you probably need Drew a little bit more. That point defender who can still get his own bucket, who can play make, get extra scoring with Dame. Yes, you lose out. Defense is a deficiency compared to Drew, no doubt about it. And it's questions. You have to ask why you've done it. I asked the same questions about the Knicks. their moves. I'm not saying they were right or wrong, but is it that who your team are? Is that the identity that will fit in with you looking to be? I don't think the Bucks have got that. They've got a bunch of old guys and a coach who hasn't bringing any new ideas. Going to get much give out of that if we're being honest. Also talked about another extremely discerning lost Bucks. Had shooting, but absolutely run off the floor. Every team's to make a point bullying the Milwaukee Bucks guards. More teams putting Dame in ball screens. A ton of demoralized body language and communication, and that's exactly what I'm seeing as well. Especially on the point to attack the guards, they don't have a strong group of guards, if we're being honest with you, and they're putting Dame in as many actions as they can, which is draining him on the offensive side as well. And the body language and the miscommunication is clear. Dame and Giannis don't have a relationship or a strong relationship on the court, if that. Prince doesn't fit this team. Brook Lopez needed a proper backup for a while. They haven't got that. Yes, Giannis is a big man as well, but him someone that can allow Brook to play a little less. He's not the same player he is. You need a better defender in terms of not. I know Brook is an amazing interior defender, but his style of defending, playing drop coverages, isn't always what you need from a big man. You may need someone to play a higher bit up, someone who can switch a little bit more. My perspective, giving Doc Rivers and signing him was a mistake. Giving him a multi-year contract was an even bigger mistake. And now it's time to cut your losses and hope that you can resolve the relationship that you have with Dame and Giannis, because that's the only hope that you have. If one goes, the other one will probably soon follow, unless you bring back another star and you're starting from scratch. You're starting from building block one. Your isn't even going to be there anymore. Him and Giannis are going to be on the road, gone. So, yeah, plea to the Bucks, owners, management, whoever it is, your losses, a decision now, because it's one that you're going to make in a couple of months and it may be too late then. Make the decision now, where you should have been patient with Adrian Griffin. Now's not the time to exercise that same new patience with Doc Rivers. You need to take advantage of the time you've been given now. He's shown himself early on in the season, so have the team. Yeah, dismantle the roster or dismantle the coaching team. I think it's going to be easier to dismantle that coaching team and get somebody who can bring a new lease of life and just get the Dame Giannis pick and roll going. That should be the most action in basketball. What are we doing? And the guys rarely run it. It may be because of how they execute it, or Dame not being able to run it to the way he wants to, or Doc not being putting the guys in position. But effective coaching is what we need to see for the Bucks, and I don't think we're seeing it at the moment. Guys, let me know your thoughts, your opinions. Leave a like and a comment, and I will catch you guys soon. It's been EDA.